The Film Crickets are intended for mature audiences. Any guests on the Film Crickets do not necessarily share the same opinions as the Film Crickets. It's time for the Film Crickets with Jay Fortier, Chris Martineau, and Melanie Howerton. On this week's episode, our good friend Tad Lemire from B98.5 in Atlanta joins the show. And the last couple times he was on, he found out Melanie lives in Atlanta but doesn't listen to the station. Let's hear his case.
You know what I like the 80s and 90s. I listen to it all the time. I'm like, yeah, 80s, 90s, and now? Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Hi. What station is it? 97 point... No, 98.5. Oh, yeah. You're that girl, Kara? She lives in Georgia. She's never heard of my show. But she's over there. She's like enjoying her Chateau Elan. You know, I don't know. I listen to the station that plays the 80s and 90s, which is my station. It's hysterical. I love it.
But then Melanie says she listens and never hears him.
Every single time that I turn it on, you're not there. Like, literally, you're not. It's either music or it's a girl, but it's never you. I never hear you on the radio.
It's the white wine, Melanie. Get up before 9.
I put you on the way to work, and I'm driving probably about between like 8:15, 8:30ish, but I don't hear you. So it's usually like music or something. I have I don't ever hear your voice. You're putting music on, so I don't hear you.
So what's the verdict? Has Melanie finally listened to Tad's show? Is Tad willing to let go of a potential listener? One thing we do know is that Jay, Chris, Melanie, and Tad review the 1997 American science fiction action comedy film, Men in Black. Does it stand the test of time? Let's find out. Your Film Crickets are on.
All right, guys, huh? How about that? Steve. Steve did that, man. That was all him. I was hoping he would, too. Huh?
Great job, Steve. Thanks for bringing us back to where we left off.
Exactly.
All the pain is in the past, but no longer.
So, should we address the elephant in the room right off the start? Right off the jump here?
Why am I always under the gun?
Well, let's say this. I think this will be our 4th podcast together, maybe 3rd, giving you the benefit of the doubt. And we came to blows on the first episode, which would have been that would have been your cue, maybe check it out. Yeah, there's been plenty of opportunities, so I wanted to see, what you think.
What do you mean what I think? I've listened to your podcast. I'm never in the car to listen to your radio channel when it's actually live.
Are we talking now, or are we listening to the recording from the last show again?
I listen to the podcast more than I listen to the radio channel. I don't listen to the radio channel.
Oh, that's awesome. I appreciate it. That's the way things are these days, right?
But I listen to the podcast and I follow you on Facebook and like your pictures. But I don't listen to the radio channel because I just don't. When I'm in the car, I'm listening to podcasts, really. I don't really listen to the radio channel that much.
That's all right. You don't need to defend yourself.
It's okay.
I still follow you. I follow you on Facebook and I listen to your podcast.
No, I follow you. You've got a beautiful family.
Thank you. You do too.
Thank you.
But you're only on a short window of time, and I'm never in the car at that time anyway.
Oh boy!
All right.
What is wrong with
This
you
is
in
great.
the car?
Listen, I've always complained that Katy Perry music gets in the way of me, so I understand.
Hey,
I get to go into work now at it depends. It's been so horribly slow lately. Sometimes I'm not going into work until 12.
Getting up around the crack of 10? That's very nice.
Yeah.
That's I'm not going to get up and listen to the radio. I have so many things to do when I'm getting ready for work and everything. I don't listen to the radio at all.
Tad, it's okay. You're a firework. You're a firework. It's okay.
I listen to I'm more of a I think I've gotten old enough where I'm I just listen to recorded stuff. Nothing that's actually live while it's happening. I find out things later on. I don't even listen to the news.
She only listens to Vinyl Man.
Yeah.
She only puts on the Vinyl Man.
It happened.
Are you saying that you binge listen to my show? on
I
podcasts.
listen to things whenever I have to listen to ours. I still have to catch up to ours. I'm not even watching our show. I'm not even watching it. Sorry, Jay.
It's all right.
Wow. I don't even listen to the podcast I'm on. How could I be expected to listen to anybody else?
We're doing it. We lived it. We don't need to.
Right.
We lived it.
He's just as bad as me, Chris. He doesn't listen to it either.
I lived it. I don't need to listen to it. Anyhow, hey guys,
You know what's great about that though, guys?
What?
I could like literally dead center in the show, like edit myself going, these two never fucking listen, and then and just start like ragging on them for like about like a 2-minute rant, and they would be none the wiser. Right?
Right.
I try to listen to ours, but I don't watch it.
I'm just joking. I'm just having fun.
I just gotta say, like, just being honest, like, I know, like, I've had some vocal training and all that stuff. I have a hard time listening to me. Like, I don't want to hear my voice. I find me annoying. I don't know how my wife deals with it. I think I'm fucking annoying. Like, I don't know how my students think I'm so cool. I'm not. I think I'm annoying. Why would you want to listen to me? So I don't want to listen to me.
And
That's
for
just me.
I'm sick of looking at like the dumb faces I make on the screen, or
it's most of the time.
mispronouncing everything all the time and asking how to say things.
Well, this right here has been a sales pitch by the Film Crickets for you guys to keep listening.
Yeah, right?
Hey, just being honest. We're keeping it real. That's what
it's just like,
podcasts are about, man.
Hey guys, you wouldn't want to buy anything from me, would you? A door-to-door salesman.
Too.
I wouldn't listen either. All right, so welcome, friends.
Podcast better than listening to the radio channel anyway.
Yeah.
Following some
So funny,
welcome.
I was going to tell
on
you.
Facebook and liking their pictures.
I don't even wear headphones when I'm on the air. Like, this is the most because I wouldn't be able to hear you guys otherwise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I just find that I am annoying in real time. You know, like I just can't even listen while I'm speaking. But there is something from when you're talking like normal voice, right? There's something between voice and ear that you're used to what you sound. But if you listen to a recording of yourself, you're like, who is that person?
Oh yeah,
yeah,
100%.
So
100%.
Yeah.
And I'm super critical of myself anyway. It's like, what the hell did I just say? I don't want to hear my mistakes. That's crazy.
No, you guys are great.
Oh, well,
and I feel like I sound like a Valley girl from the 80s or something. I don't know.
You sound great.
It's just my voice. I can't help it.
That's the salt and pepper on the show, Melanie. It's okay. All right, Jay, introduce the damn show. Let's go.
Yeah, man. Welcome to the Film Crickets, and it's a podcast where we talk about movies from 1980 to 1999 and decide beyond the shadow of a doubt whether or not these movies stand the test of time. I am your co-host, Jay Fortier, along with my good friend and co-host, Chris Martineau.
Hello, that's me. And let me just do real quick shout out to my son, Chris Martineau Jr. He got me these awesome posters of John Wick 4, and he got me Right Out of the Case, and he got me In the Mouth of Madness poster from Marvel. John Wick is my new Star Wars. If anybody hasn't seen John Wick, you should. But again, shout out to my son, Chris Martineau Jr. I love you, buddy. Thank you so much for thinking of me. And he kept these aside for me. And he got me, if anybody hasn't seen them, the coins that go along with the thing.
Very nice.
Again, shout out to my son. I'm sorry, Melanie, to kind of take your thunder there for a minute, but
you didn't.
Shout out to my son. I love you, buddy. Thank you very much. So
I also like to introduce my good friend and co-host, Melanie Howerton.
Hey.
hey.
No shout outs, Melanie.
Hey.
No, not at all. Not right now.
All right. Well, we're joined today by a good friend. He's been here about like 4 or 5 times now, and it's been a blast each and every time. It's Tad Lemire from B98.5 in Atlanta. Welcome, man.
Shout out to my son, who this is his bedroom here, and you can see he did a great job cleaning up.
Very nice.
So, yes.
Nice bedroom.
Thank you, Sammer.
Tad, how
I like
often
the
do you
wall and I like the platform bed.
Tad, how often do you step on Legos in the middle of the night in the dark?
Oh, constantly. But I think I don't think that's like an issue.
No.
Have you? I've never. People are like, oh, it's the worst thing you could ever do is step on a Lego. If you've ever stepped on it, it's the worst. It's not. And like I try sometimes to accidentally step on them. Like I leave a trail of them in my path to see if I can replicate the hype. And there is like, they just don't hurt.
Okay.
They don't live up to it.
All over your feet, and you need a pedicure.
So, well, maybe.
Yeah, maybe I've just got tough feet. Maybe I need to start placing some Duplos. The bigger bricks.
That's not as much pressure.
Okay, but have you ever stepped on a plug, from a cord? Because that hurts like
that's painful.
That hurts.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
so if you can feel that, then you're over it.
So I think what you need, Tad, is rather than rose petals going up the stairs to your bedroom, Legos. And plugs going up the bedroom, and then kind of feel the pain as you're going up.
Yeah,
it's almost like a horror movie.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. All right.
So are you ready? We're going to talk about Men in Black from 1997, right? Yeah.
Yes. So let's get it. Let's talk about this movie again, the history of it, and I want to go around the room and see what your history is with Men in Black. Is this something you watch a lot? Is it something that you own? Is it something that is near and dear to your heart? Is it just like, I know about it, I like it, I haven't seen it a lot? I'm going to start with Tad. What's your history with the first Men in Black?
Well, I just want to say that it is like the fourth or fifth time I've been on this podcast.
Yes.
And every other time I've been consulted, what movie would you like to do? Right?
Yeah.
So we've done some classics like Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Yeah.
And The Big Lebowski.
Yeah.
And we did Home Alone as our holiday film, which was a delight. But once you've been on the podcast, I guess for your 5 times, then it's like, hey, guess what, buddy? You're doing Men in Black, whether you like it or not. Who chose it and why?
Who chose it? We all kind of did.
You did.
It was like the three of us were like discussing stuff and like on text, and then
you've never done this movie, so I don't have much of a history of Men in Black.
Really? All right.
I don't have much of a memory to begin with, and certainly for like the late '90s. Just trying to think of even where I was. I know I saw it when it came out.
Okay.
And I vaguely remembered it. And how many movies were there?
3, and then international, which is 4.
No, I don't.
And so I'm curious to go back and visit. I don't think this is a particularly groundbreaking film to me.
Ooh.
It is a.
Ooh.
I'm glad it was an hour and a half. It is a very simple storyline.
Ooh.
And I was lucky because the flickering lights, I've told you this before, of the screen often put me to sleep. So I watched this movie in shifts. It's an hour and a half long, and I watched it on 3 different chunks.
Okay.
So tell me why I should rewatch now and with a different perspective. And you think I'm going to use it because you think it's a groundbreaking movie?
I don't think it's groundbreaking, not at all. We'll get into that, but I think that it is actually, and we'll get into this later, is actually an example of almost perfect storytelling. Up there with Raiders of the Lost Ark and The Matrix, this movie just gets at it. It tells the story. It doesn't assume we're stupid, even though the context, the ideas are silly as shit. I mean, there's some silly things going on in this movie. I don't mean jokes. I mean the ideas of just weird, gloopy aliens.
Right.
But the fact of the matter is the way that the movie's put together is almost perfect storytelling, not unlike The Matrix or Raiders of the Lost Ark. For me, this thing is top 10. It's not the most perfect movie ever, but it is real good. And Tad, to your, I don't know if you liked it, and we'll get into that later. 2 is terrible. 3 is serviceable, and 4 I haven't seen because it just takes a completely different tack. 3 is actually okay.
Well, it looks funny because Josh Brolin plays young.
So good.
Yeah, he plays they go back in time, and Josh Brolin plays the young version of Tommy Lee Jones. So he's like,
oh, nice.
He still has that
yeah.
Tell
you what, Slick.
Yeah.
Tell you what. So anyway, again, not groundbreaking at all, but as entertaining as all get out. But anyway. That's for later. Jason, where are you with this movie?
Well, you were already talking about it. Do you actually want to cover your history?
Yeah, sure. So I own this on digital. I have it on DVD. To me, and not unlike Melanie with Halloween, if it's on, I'll watch it. It just in the background. I've seen it a bunch of times, either from the beginning to the end or straight from the beginning from the middle to the end, straight from the beginning to the end. I saw it in the theaters in '97 with my ex-wife, and strangely enough, my mother and father, which was weird. I think we were just trying to do like a thing, like, I don't know, everybody trying to get comfortable with each other because we were just started dating and whatnot. There's a cat.
I was like, what the heck is happening?
It's Orion. It's Orion.
It's Orion. Oh shit.
Yeah.
But it's one of my wife, my current wife, her favorite movies. And if it's on, we just watch it. It's like Independence Day for her. Like if it's on, you just keep Independence Day on. There's no reason to move because you watch Independence Day. And then this Men in Black is the same thing. You just watch it because it's as entertaining as all get out. It's not a perfect movie, but it's in my top 10 in terms of storytelling, in terms of the way that it's kind of comes across. So that's my history. I own it. I've watched it a bunch of times. I actually rewatched it even though I didn't have to for this kind of synopsis. But this is all right. This is top echelon for me anyway.
Can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
Does your current wife know that you went to see the movie with your ex-wife and your parents?
Yes.
And how does she feel about that?
Oh, it's not an issue at all because that's another era in my life, right? And even
era,
then,
is that Massachusetts for error?
Yes, kind of so era. So I saw the Men in Black over there, and and then after that I had to go borrow these.
I got married, but that was a big era.
Era, that was
that was a different era.
That's perfect. So in fact, I'll tell you what. I didn't have an appreciation for this movie until I met my current wife because I saw it once with my ex-wife. Well, we were dating at the time, but now that I watched it a bunch of times because it's my wife Joanne's like one of her favorite movies. Like you come to understand the nuances of it, and I sat with it more and understood how good a movie this is in terms of its storytelling. So that's that. So that's interesting. So hey, let's go to Jay.
All right. It's funny. I saw this kind of not fully understanding what it was like going to be. Like I just knew it was Will Smith going to attack some aliens a year after Independence Day, which is like one of my absolute favorite films like ever. I've always loved it. So a year later, I'm like, here we go. We're going to do it again with a different thing. But, it's still Will Smith and he's taking on it. And I was not ready for the goofy aspect, like, the weird stuff. Like, and I'm not saying I didn't like it, but I just was like, yeah, that was cool. But also not sure what the hell did I just see? Like sort of like the first time I saw Scream, I was not ready to laugh.
Yeah.
When I was watching Scream, I was like, I'm laughing here. I'm not supposed to be laughing. It's a horror, so I wasn't ready. But I liked it. I saw it in a theater in Alabama.
What?
Yeah. It's one of those small towns that has it had the theater that has like a marquee with one movie showing.
Yeah.
Like tonight, this week it's Men in Black. Why was
were
I in
you in
Alabama? I went down to Alabama to watch Men in Black. No,
specifically. You got the package.
Yeah, they were trying to lure people from the north. They were like, "Come on down,"
because I can imagine like leaving a theater in small town Alabama would be the most disturbing.
Jesus.
Like that's the last place you want to be after a movie like that. It seems like the kind of place where aliens eat people.
Well, no, my mother-in-law is from Florida, she's like one town over from the Alabama line. So like,
okay.
Because it's on the panhandle, so it borders Alabama. You go into Alabama for like a couple things, and they had a little movie theater, and that's like talking my language, And I was like, yes, that's coming. It was around the 4th of July, and that was like the time when Will Smith saved the world. Every 4th of July for a while,
no doubt,
until Wild Wild West.
Yep.
And they were like, let's pick somebody else. So yeah, no, it was. And then I watched it a couple times throughout the years. I owned it, but then I would kind of like let it just go away for a while. Like, yeah, I'm going to give this a break, So last night was the first time I'd seen it in a long time.
Great, super, Melanie.
I don't have a large of a story as you guys. I mean, literally don't remember when I first watched it at all. My mom has it on DVD, of course. So I've seen it many, many times. I've had the kids watch it. You know, like you said, if it's on TV, I'll watch it. I don't remember the first time I ever saw it.
Okay. So, but when you saw it the first time, did you come away going, that was stupid? Or you liked it?
No, I thought it was super funny. I loved it. I think it was really funny.
All right, super.
Yeah.
All right, so that's our context of Men in Black. So let's get into IMDb, and then I have kind of an opening question, then we'll get into it. I'm going to try not to gush about this movie too much. So Men in Black comes out in 1997. It's PG-13. Coming in an hour and 38 minutes. I love movies that are about 90 minutes, and the fact that it goes through as much as it can go through in 98 minutes is fantastic. The director is Barry Sonnenfeld. The writers are Lowell Cunningham and Ed Solomon. Stars Tommy Lee Jones, first billing, Will Smith, and Linda Fiorentino. And the one sentence breakdown is: a police officer joins a secret organization that polices and monitors extraterrestrial interactions on Earth. It stars Tommy Lee Jones as K, Will Smith as J, Linda Fiorentino, Vinny D'Onofrio, who does a fantastic job, Rip Torn, R.I.P. as Zed, Tony Shalhoub, and a host of others. And let's get into the movie. So, first things first. I've seen this movie probably more than a lot of people in the room. Who is the MVP? Before we get into story and nuances, who is the MVP of this movie? Will Smith or Tommy Lee Jones? Talk to me. Who wants to chime in first?
I'll go with the guy who sighed.
All right. So I don't really care for Will Smith anymore. I really don't really care for Will Smith. I don't like
after that thing that happened.
The slap. I mean, so he used to be so
this is
lovable.
20 years before the slap.
I can't teleport myself back. So watching this, I mean, it's not like I was sitting there with my arms crossed, like Will Smith. But I do enjoy Tommy Lee Jones, and Tommy Lee Jones, to my knowledge, hasn't walked up on stage at a major awards show and smacked somebody in the mouth. I think that you know, cancel Will Smith. I don't really have any use for the guy anymore because that was such a douche move, and it will always be a douche move. I don't care how much Page 6 apologies, tell-alls, Barbara Walter specials. I know, rest in peace. Speaking of, she's up there with Rip Torn hanging out. But so all day long, I'm going to go Tommy Lee Jones, who was 50 when this movie came out, or in that range. Now, right 26 years ago, so he'd be 76 now. Mm-hmm. And I thought kind of an old-looking 50.
Yeah,
you get to see the lines.
He's a grizzled. He's grizzled. He is.
Thank you.
Wow.
I'm 52, so I mean, as well.
You look young. You look younger.
I'm not 52,
Tommy Lee Jones.
but I'm 50 as well.
I was like, you look great.
Yeah,
You're halfway to 104, baby. You look fantastic.
Yeah. So, no, not yet.
So wait a minute. I got grief the other week because, not grief, but someone like abutted me when I said I don't like Tom Cruise because of his Scientology bit. And I just can't look
at him either.
I can't look at him the same way. But people came at me like, yeah, well, you know, he's just an actor. And, you know, you got to forget about that when you're watching a movie. I'm like, but I can't because I've seen him at the Scientology like conventions, like doing his crazy bullshit stuff.
Right, jumping on Oprah's couch.
Yeah, like
he turned himself into a clown. But, you know, these are people. They do things, you know.
When he was
wait, stop. Tad Lemire, quote of the day: people, they do things.
Yeah, this is shit you can hear on B98.5 every weekday morning if you listen.
Such people.
More
they do things.
Okay, you know how much I love you. And you're like one of my favorite guests we've ever had ever. My daughter loves you too. She just loves you to death. We love you. You know I love you. I follow you on Facebook. I look at your family. I talk to you on Facebook.
Oh, here it comes.
Listen to the podcast.
Here it comes.
Come on.
Here it comes.
I know. I'm just joking. But I really do appreciate all that stuff. Oh my gosh.
I love
Fills my cup. I tell you.
So wait.
I'm just saying, like, actors, it'd be best if actors just stayed locked up in their mansions, because the second they leave the house is when they start effing up movies for themselves. Like,
except for Keanu Reeves, who's an angel.
An angel, right?
I know.
If you conduct yourself in public and leave the house.
He is.
And all I hear them is complain about all the shit that happens when they're out in public. Mm-hmm. So let's solve this once and for all. If you're a celebrity, an A-lister, just stay in your mansion. Get your groceries delivered. It's big enough. What do you need? What do you want to go out for?
I agree.
Like, you guys remember Alex, the phone call that Alec Baldwin had left, the message that he left his daughter?
Yes.
And then also the Mel Gibson one that he was talking to his ex-wife. So I always think of that too. And like, you don't like them anymore because of that. But like, I don't know, for some reason when I don't like them because of that. I can't get that. I remember exactly what Alec Baldwin calls his daughter. He called her a little pig. Like, I remember exactly this disgusting thing that Mel Gibson said when he was on the phone. Disgusting. You know, but the thing is like, when for some reason when I'm watching a movie, I just look at him like it's a character. And I like the movie.
And you should.
But I don't for some reason I just don't think of those things when I'm watching a movie. I don't know why. I just don't. I mean, if I would just look at the person, like, I don't know, maybe like on my phone or something, and I was reading something about him on something, then I would kind of think about it. But when I'm watching a movie, for some reason, I just don't. I just get into the movie and I don't think of it. I don't know why.
I'll tell you this, Melanie. I'll tell you this.
Suspension of disbelief, right?
Yeah, I agree with Tad. And like, you're a schmuck for whatever happened at the Oscars. The slap heard around the world. But I watched this movie, and I know it's like a couple years out of Independence Day, and he's just like, he sometimes when he's doing his comedy bits, he is full on Fresh Prince. He's as charming as shit, and you kind of forget that. And that's where I struggle with, like, I have a problem with Tom Cruise, but I don't have as much of a problem with Will Smith, because he's doing his full on Will Smith. You forget that, like, he's got that smile, he's got that look. He's got, like, when he says, I make this suit look good, you buy it in 1997. Whereas now it seems like, okay, like, that's a kind of a corny line. That wouldn't fly today. But go ahead, Jay.
How great is the, can you tell me why little Tiffany had to die? And he's like, look at her, man. She's carrying quantum physics. She's about to start some shit, right? Mm-hmm. That's funny. Like, like, that's like really good timing. Like, that's when he was really like, he had already been in a couple movies prior. He was in the show, but not, you don't always translate very well from sitcom to major movie star.
Right.
It doesn't always work. So, I mean, he really pulled it off. But I mean, but someone who does not do comedy, or I'm not sure if he ever did prior to this, you really got to, say the MVP probably is Tommy Lee Jones, just because that's not his forte. Right. Like, to start, like, I mean, he's a great actor. But for the most part, you were always seeing him either as, the agent that was chasing Dr. Richard Kimball, or, like that. I think he was like like he played a psychopath a couple times. I mean, he was like, always intense. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what worked so well with this, though, because he was also intense
that
here.
Guy, in contrast to Will Smith, that guy's a freaking legend. He's one of one of the like greatest actors, I think. Tommy Lee Jones is freaking awesome.
Yeah, no, I'm comparing it like Jeff Daniels, when Jeff Daniels was in Dumb and Dumber. Mm-hmm. He was like the better surprise, like almost like the more valued member, because you're gonna get, like the wackadoodle guy with Jim Carrey, but the fact that this other guy pulls it off and can hang, it's almost like a better job.
When you were talking about little Tiffany, I just like the line that comes after that when he was like, or do I owe her an apology? Like that. Right. That was just so funny.
Well, it's but here's the thing, Melody. It's bravado, which we expect of the Fresh Prince, or the fighter pilot from Independence Day, or Agent J. We expect that bravado, but he's able to pull back and go, or do I owe her an apology? Or in the moment before that, when they're asking why are you all here? And the guy stands up and says, because we're the best of the, second lieutenant West Point with honors. We're the best of the best of the best, sir. And then he starts laughing and says, that's funny because Captain America here doesn't have any idea why he was here either. He just follows orders. And that's okay in regular society, but not with the Men in Black. You have to be able to improvise because you're going to see things that you don't expect, which is where that Fresh Prince attitude works well, because we're not expecting that. We're expecting him to break the rules. We're expecting him to be a fish out of water, but to excel being a fish out of water. Tommy Lee Jones is the MVP. And I'll tell you why he's the MVP, because of other podcasts I've listened to with some inside information about Men in Black, is that Tommy Lee Jones didn't understand the script.
Yeah.
He was trying, all of his lines, he was saying he was trying to do like it was a comedy.
Yeah.
And he would deliver the lines like a comedy and go to Barry Sonnenfeld, the director, and say, no, stop doing that. Just say the lines. Mm-hmm. And he didn't understand. So one day he just said the lines as deadpan as Tommy Lee Jones you would expect, what we saw out of The Fugitive. And then he saw the dailies and he said, okay, I understand. I'm supposed to say this like it's not funny. Like all the stuff that I'm saying is not funny. And that makes it funnier, which is harder to do than what Will Smith is doing. Again, not taking away from Will Smith and the slap and all that stuff. Will Smith is doing what he is asked to do. That is to be the Fresh Prince. However, Tommy Lee Jones is being asked to not be funny. And in not being funny, it's going to be funny, which is so hard to do. I can't even explain to you how hard that is.
And I'm sure you know the insider information, but I'm sure that's why Tommy Lee Jones was cast in that role, is because he had that vision that Tommy Lee had a difficult time grasping at first. But to piggyback on that, is I think Tommy Lee Jones' character, that role would be very difficult to fill with anybody else versus the Will Smith character. There's any number of actors that could have pulled that character off. Right?
It was supposed to be Clint Eastwood's role or something. I guess.
Tommy Lee Jones?
Yeah.
He could have done that. He could have.
Nobody's better
the
than
straight.
Tommy Lee Jones.
Tommy Lee Jones has that face too. Like it's like this. I mean, I don't know. There was just something about it. Was also timing. The Fugitive wasn't far prior, right? Or was it?
No.
Was it
95 at best? At best. So I don't have the number, but yeah.
You know what I mean? So he was like really up there at the time, like a top tier as well. So it's like it was just I think a perfect casting.
Yeah.
The only time I ever thought that felt a little false, and the only time I thought it just was kind of just a little bit too much and just a little bit too fake was when they were in the car driving really fast, and they had kind of flipped over, and so they were kind of upside down, and Will Smith was kind of falling all over the place, and they were listening to, I think, Elvis or something, I can't remember, on the radio, and Tommy Lee Jones was singing with just a straight face. Like, I don't know, that to me was that was a little bit reaching too far. I don't know, I just felt like that was just, because like he's like the other guy's falling all over the place, and he's like shocked about what the heck the car is about, and he just has to be so serious, and just like, this is not a big deal. Let me just listen to my radio like it's not a big deal. You know what I mean? Like that, to me, that's the only part of the movie, the only part that I just felt like it was just a little too much.
Sure.
A little too much.
They're asking you to suspend a giant window of disbelief in this movie. And by and large, they kind of do it. But boy, like, that's the thing. Like, he carries the movie. Without Tommy Lee Jones acting as he does, then Will Smith isn't funny at all.
Yeah.
I think. I mean, he's funny, but he's just Fresh Prince, but it doesn't elevate the humor as much as it should. When we see him... Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, let's go back to a different movie that we've covered, and it was Mrs. Doubtfire. The scene in the unemployment office when he's talking to the old woman, and he's rattling off all these like moments and impressions and stuff like that. Her deadpan face it makes his stuff 10 times funnier because she's so angry about it. like and doesn't flinch. So that's exactly why anything that you're laughing about Will, it's just bouncing right off of this wall right here. That's Tommy Lee Jones, and it's 10 times funnier.
Tommy Lee Jones because in it, and I remember not liking that lady.
No, I love him. No, he's very lovable. But it's still like a serious guy, and there's moments where he's not. Like when he's in, when he's having tacos or whatever with him the first night, and Will's not sure who he is. He's like, "Wait, who are you?" And he's laughing, like he's doing all these like things. He's like, "Honey," like he's doing all these weird. I don't know.
He's doing a joke.
He's cracking up, laughing about that. It's hysterical.
Chris? I'm curious what you think about like how many times is this relationship happened in movies? Like it reminds me of like you've got the fish out of water guy, you've got the seasoned pro showing up the ropes. I feel like that's Beverly Hills Cop. Can you think of any other movies that are like that? I mean, this is because you're usually into that's the classic blah 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 formula.
But that's the thing is like it's hard to say because you could. All right, let's go to Midnight Run. Like you have De Niro and
Grodin.
Charles Grodin,
right?
Who's awesome.
So he's. And here's the thing, like that's a very close analogy because De Niro is not a comic actor. He's playing very straight, but the shit that he's saying is so funny because it's going against Grodin, who is not he's a white collar criminal, whereas De Niro is dealing with like a lot of blue collar criminals, like people on the street, like dealing with shit, and he's a bounty hunter, like so he understands that. Right. And I think this relationship is interesting because you have this new guy going in with this season vet. It's the same energy. Like, I have seen all the stuff that you're about to see. You don't know shit, kid. And in fact, he says that early on, and I love this moment in the movie because when Will Smith decides, I'm going to be part of the Men in Black, he comes in, he meets Tommy Lee Jones, who's waiting for him in the elevator at the Battery, and he goes down and he goes, all right, look, and he tries to be all street. He tries to be all New York, street cop. He's like, look, like you recognize the skills with a Z. You recognize the skills and I don't want to be called son or junior or anything like that. And immediately after, Tommy Lee Jones in straight face says, all right, slick. And then for the rest of the movie does not refer to him as kid or scooter or whatever. He says tiger. He says everything but sport. He says everything but those three words. Right. The entire film.
Rip Torn says them, I think, doesn't he?
Rip Torn says it because he doesn't. Junior. He doesn't have the same relationship he has between K and J, which are right next to each other on the alphabet, whatever, and Z is at the end. He doesn't understand that relationship, and it's to me so intriguing because while Jay has all these street smarts, Kane has seen some shit, and I can't think of another example of this in movie history besides Midnight Run. Maybe there are some westerns that I'm missing, but I can't think of one. Maybe Unforgiven. If you want to think about Unforgiven with Clint Eastwood and the young protege who wants to be Clint Eastwood, and Clint Eastwood is like, you don't want to be me, I'm Unforgiven. Mm-hmm. And if anybody hasn't seen Unforgiven, you should, because it's a great movie. But the fact of the matter is, like, when we get to that point, the relationship between K and J is he is grooming J to be K. He is grooming him. He knows his time is limited, just like we see with D at the beginning of the movie. He knows his clock is ticking. And also, and I'm sorry, I've gone on a rant, but K understands where J is coming from because K has been there. And even though he's so stoic, he knows what he has lost. And even though we see him not react, when the moments that we let K react to things, when he says to Jay, like, the reason that these people are so calm is because they don't need to know about it. Because he knows how grave everything is all the time. So what else are you supposed to do? You're supposed to be stoic. because you know the Earth is about to end at every moment. That's your job as the Men in Black.
Explain this to me.
Yeah.
Like, Will Smith's, and you call him J and K at Elemental P, but I call him Will Smith, Tommy Lee Jones.
Sure,
I pay
yeah.
attention to that shit. That's what happens when you get famous. You don't have to like people call you by your name and not your. They should really, Hollywood should just buy into that, like Tommy Lee Jones as Tommy Lee Jones, because that's who you're getting.
Yeah.
But they didn't spend a whole lot of time. Like Will Smith's like, you've got till dawn to think about whether or not you want to join the Men in Black, and then he basically doesn't leave the park bench. He doesn't consult anybody, but we don't hear any of the backstory, so it brushes over that. And then it's like Tommy Lee Jones zooming in on his long lost love he hasn't seen and everything. They don't. Really, they're just like, it's kind of like, is that great storytelling, or why go there?
Yes, it is. It's great storytelling
because at the end. That's why you had to bring that up.
No, it's great storytelling.
He was never really happy to begin with. He really wasn't happy when he said, "Is it worth it?" He goes, "Yeah, if you're strong enough." But you could tell he was kind of sad and he missed her. That's why he kept looking at her all the time. And so at the end, when Will Smith, basically, you had to have that piece in there, because at the end, when Will Smith was like, he knew it was time to like let him go, because he could tell that he kind of like missed her and wanted to be with her. Then you had to have that piece or you wouldn't know what the hell's going on at the end.
I get it, but it's like, I don't know if they just didn't do a good enough job making me care whether or not Tommy Lee Jones got with his old lady or not. You know what I mean? Like,
here's the thing. I will rebut with that by saying that because he committed to the job of being the Men in Black. Therefore, you have to, and Zed says it, like, you must sever all ties with everything, because people can't know what's going on. A person is smart. People are dumb and reactionary, and you know it. And he knows that as a cop. And I understand that. Me individually, I'm smart. In the mass, I'm stupid, because I follow what I think is best. And so Kay has been suppressing all of these things for the greater good for all of his life. And the fact that on his couple of moments where he had some free time for himself, the Men in Black, as far as we understand, don't sleep. They have a 37-hour schedule. So as far as we know, they don't sleep. You get used to it, as Zed says. And so in those few moments where he says, where he's looking at his long lost love that he gave up for the greater good of humanity, to keep the aliens at bay, and Will Smith or Jay says, it's better to have, loved and lost than never loved at all. Sorry. And Kay says, try it. Like, that to me is, he doesn't have a lot of opportunity to show his actual emotions, and when he does, he shows it to you 100%. Try it, scumbag. Try it, because I did it. And that's what I did here. We don't need to know. My point is, Tad, we don't need to know his backstory. We don't need to know Jay's backstory. We don't need to know it, because they convey it in their acting. We don't need to know it, because we can sense it, that these things are important to them. And that, to me, I like about movies. You don't need to tell me everything. You let the actors do the work.
It was easily digestible, for sure, and you're not going to get much more in an hour and a half. So it's a trade-off. However, I just feel like I'd like to explore the backstory a little bit more. If it was gonna make an emotional connection, but that's not what it's for, right? It's not for it. But they could make. I didn't see the Joker, but I imagine what the Joker is more of a deep dive on that. So
I don't give a shit about the Joker. Like, I don't care about his backstory.
Well, you didn't even get one on Will either. You just kind of assumed that he was alone, didn't have family, or didn't have anything, because you didn't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
I agree.
He didn't have
right,
anybody.
but wouldn't a little struggle with that decision been a great made an emotional connection?
I feel like they should have showed him like Will Smith going home to like some rinky-dinky apartment with like a thing of like old Chinese food in the fridge and like
not sitting on a park bench all night, like really thinking deep.
Yeah.
He's got to get his affairs together.
Yeah.
Again, suspension of disbelief. I know a lot of stuff has to end up not. You know what I mean? These decisions are made.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think that I don't need to know where Will Smith lives, because he's going to be a Man in Black. And in fact, when they go to, in Men in Black 2, which is terrible, they go to Will Smith's apartment, and it's kind of like a letdown. It's like, oh, well, what? You guys live like normal lives? What the fuck? I mean, I thought you were the Men in Black. I thought you just slept like 15 minutes at a time whenever you could, and you were always at the office because the Earth was always in danger. Like, I don't want to hear about your apartment. It's in Men in Black 2, and it's terrible.
No, I want the apartment should be on like an HGTV, flip or flop. I want to see the apartment. Maybe put some shit in there, Will, for God's sake.
Here's what it is that in part 2, Will is like looking at a computer screen of his apartment from back in the day and feeling really nostalgic. No, I'm just kidding. like really nostalgic of it.
Oh, they could. Or maybe his daughter that we never met in the first movie. I mean, you know what I mean?
Does that have a daughter? What are you talking about?
Or he sees the future. And he's like, I don't know who this guy is I'm slapping, but what the fuck?
That bed in the background looks like my daughter's bed.
Oh, the West Elm.
Yeah, it looks a lot like that. It's gray and everything.
See, we do care about Will Smith's freaking apartment, fellas. We want to know.
No,
I know. I honestly think it should have been like a half gallon of rotten milk and some old Chinese food. Just
was it nice? I picture it to be like super modern and sleek. No, they should make money.
I picture it to be like a piece of shit that he doesn't care if he leaves it or not.
Well, you guys saw it, right?
What?
You guys have seen his apartment.
No, I mean part one. I mean part one. Like if we got to see where he lived in part one, where he made his decision to just leave.
But where does he live in part 2? Is he rich?
No, not at all. And we see him in part 3, which is weird. Like he talks to Tommy Lee Jones in part 3, and then Tommy Lee Jones is basically living in like a mansion. You got to see 3. But
3 looks funny.
3's great. Oh well, no, it's not great.
3. What's in 3?
3's time travel. Josh Brolin plays Kay. So God,
I do remember his face being in there. What was the one with that girl was in it?
2.
Okay, so what?
2's a hot mess.
What was 4? I never saw that.
4 is the one with
4 is international.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Did you see 4?
I don't know. I didn't see it.
Hey, I got a question.
Yeah.
So when I was watching this movie, I was like, oh yeah. I used to have a thing, like I used to have the hots for that chick from ER, Maura Tierney, and she looks so great.
Is she?
She's not in the movie, but that chick looks exactly like her. It's crazy.
All right.
Tell me she doesn't. No, from part 1, the female. I don't even never even heard of this actress before.
Linda
I
Florentino.
looked it up. She was on like Quest or something. Was her first
Fishing Quest.
I didn't even. Right, and so, but she looks exactly like she's Maura Tierney's doppelganger.
Okay.
Is anybody with me on this? Have you seen ER?
I believe you.
You know what I'm talking about?
I didn't watch ER, my man.
No, you know why I didn't watch ER? Because it made me feel terrible all the time. It was always and it also turned me kind of into like a hypochondriac. Like because somebody would come up with they'd write in some weird, strange disease that somebody would have, but it would begin with like a stomach ache. or like a weird little headache on the side, right? And it's like all of a sudden a week from now, I get a stomach ache, and I'm like, great, freaking aliens are gonna pop out, thanks to ER, freaking making me think about all these crazy stuff.
That's Maura Tierney.
Oh, she does look like her.
She's from Liar Liar.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought she was from Men in Black, because that's an older.
Yeah.
I think she was from Liar Liar.
She's so pretty.
Why do you have so many?
Or it could be the other lady.
Ted, rewind. Why do you have so many of these pictures at the ready on your phone?
No, you looked her up while you was talking.
Holy shit, kid! What is happening?
It's his wallpaper. It's his wallpaper.
Jesus! My God!
You guys
want to do TMI?
Yeah, sure.
It's time for TMI with Melanie.
Listen to this. I am in the bathroom right before the movie starts. And I'm in the stall, and there's no toilet paper.
Mine are at home in a display case above my bed.
TMI, my friends.
It's just
TMI?
Too much information.
Don't go there, but that's lame.
Now, here's Melanie with your timeless movie info.
All right. You ready, Melanie?
Bring it, Melanie. I love this part.
Okay. So the budget was $90 million. It grossed $600 million. And then Vincent, I'm going to say this right,
D'Onofrio.
What the hell is his name?
D'Onofrio.
I spelled it differently so I'd remember how to say it because it doesn't even look like that when you're... Anyway, cut that out. So he researched his role as Edgar by watching a lot of bug documentaries. In order to achieve his character and his walk, he put on knee braces so he couldn't bend his legs and taped up his ankles. And then it said that it took Rich Baker 6 hours every day to transform him into the bug. Silk swatches were glued to his cheeks and tied around the back of his head to stretch his face. Will Smith didn't believe that it was really Steven Spielberg on the other end of the line when he called him to talk to him about the movie. And Tommy Lee Jones said that he only would accept the role as K after Steven Spielberg promised the script would improve. He said that it did not capture the tone of the comic. He was really pissed off that he didn't get to be funny. It's like he wanted to be more funny. I have this down here. It says he wanted to play every scene. They wanted him to play every scene straight, and he became frustrated that he was not allowed to be funny. And Barry insisted for this to work, you had to be the serious one, and Will had to be the funny one. The known aliens visible on the screen include Al Roker, Danny DeVito, director Barry Sonnenfeld, Chloe Sonnenfeld, Barry's daughter, Sylvester Stallone, Dionne Warwick, Newt Gingrich, Anthony Robbins, George... What is it?
Gingrich.
Oh, sorry.
When did you see
Anthony
these people?
Robbins. They were on, when he went into the building at first and he was looking at all the people on the screen that were supposed to be aliens in disguise. And
those people were in there. I was wondering.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of funny to tell.
It's kind of blurry.
Yeah.
Right.
George Lucas and Steven Spielberg were also on there too. Yeah. I just remember really seeing Sylvester Stallone and Dionne Warwick.
Stallone's the obvious one, and I think I was really, really looking, and I saw George Lucas, but it was also very it was kind of blurry, so I was like, I wonder if there's a list.
To do that and then not make it obvious.
I know.
Did you guys feel like this film, and I know it's not, but especially when you watch the entry of Beetlejuice, I just felt like it had Tim Burton all over it. It really shocked the hell out of me that he wasn't any part of it.
I think what sets the tone is the opening credits.
Yep. Yes. It's exactly like
that dragonfly.
You're all flying around, and you're flying around the little model of the town. Even the way the wording is, I don't know. It just reminded me of it. And I think the wording a little bit probably was also like Addams Family, and I know they were involved in that. But I just couldn't believe that Tim Burton wasn't part of it.
I was, to be honest, and I'll just cut in quick, is I hear the beginning of Men in Black,
Beetlejuice,
and I immediately go ba 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 ba. I immediately go, and then I was with my wife at the gym this morning, and she's like, "Why are you singing Beetlejuice?" I'm like, "Because I just watched Men in Black." Because it just sounds like the beginning of that leads into Beetlejuice. But yeah, it
sounds like it. It looks like it. It's insane.
It's
is
Danny
the
Elfman.
Same guy responsible for the music in both of those movies?
Yeah, it's Danny Elfman. Danny Elfman in both.
Danny Elfman did the music for Men in Black?
Yes, sir.
Oh, I didn't see
100%.
that.
Yep.
And I just want to
model of the town,
If I could ask this question too, because you guys are the experts on movies, but what I thought of when I was watching the beginning is that it was it seemed like it came at a time where they were transitioning from 20 minutes of opening credits that are kind of lame and boring to let's make this interesting, and to now where they're like, let's do fight scene right there before the credits even roll, and we're going to post just the name of the movie, and then we'll do the rest at the end. It seemed like it was somewhere. When did that transition occur? Is it about?
I would say once you start getting into the 2000s, I think that's probably where it starts to happen. You stop seeing director of casting at the opening credits, because nobody gives a shit. So I think we're transitioning out of that right around this time, around 2000 or so.
Yeah,
so we're getting
into that. I don't know why he did it though. I think it's just so cute. You want to watch it. You want to see what's going to happen next. Sure. And I love that. One of my favorite parts of Beetlejuice ever is literally the very beginning of the movie. And the whole going through the town and the model and everything, and then when they go on the bridge like that. But the whole beginning of the movie is one of my favorite parts ever. I can't wait for Beetlejuice 2.
Oh God, they are making that.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
I thought you meant you can't wait till we do Beetlejuice and you get mad at Jay.
Oh, what? Oh, you don't like it?
Not
But
really.
you're gonna get it. You're gonna
What?
get it. Yeah.
What are you, a communist?
No,
Well,
it's
I
just
have
that.
a feeling
No,
This
it's
is
a
a teaser for
style.
the next episode.
No, it's a stylistic
it,
thing.
Dad?
Beetlejuice, it's been way too long. I'm not crazy wild. I think that Tim Burton is an artist, right?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Chris, you like it?
Those
I love Beetlejuice.
Okay, we gotta do it.
100%.
I'll watch
Oh,
that
God,
again.
it's
I'll
great.
watch that again.
Love it.
All
Okay,
right.
we all
Let's
gotta
do
do
now it's
the
been-
next episode
We
in
have one
October,
iffy,
and we'll
one
do
don't like it,
Beetlejuice.
two love it.
Isn't it a
Yeah.
Halloween movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll call it that. Yeah.
And the new
No,
Beetlejuice
it's not about-
2 is coming out, so that would be perfect timing because
So-
they're
so
working on it
let
right
me-
now.
Real quick, let me just say something about that. I don't like the vibe or the feel. Like I don't like the art, the artsiness of it. I just don't.
That's what I
I don't
like
like.
about
It's
it.
not my thing. No, it's just that, like it's a feeling I don't enjoy. Like when I'm watching this, I'm kind of like.
I think I kind of agree.
I appreciate Michael Keaton. I think he does a great job.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? Like he's very funny with his little like like the way he's like acting like whatever. I'm not gonna I'm just saying like he's very like over the top, like very fast. I also really like that little guy, the guy with the tiny head and the big eyes.
Sure.
Yeah.
The shrunken head dude. But I'm
You know
saying
what
like
I'm
it's just
thinking
like it just
when I'm thinking-
kind of gives me the like I don't know.
When I think of Tim Burton, I think of The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah.
And
I don't like that either.
Didn't do that.
I
That's
don't.
not his thing.
What?
That's not his thing. He was executive producer. He barely had anything to do with it. They just slapped his name on it.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, geez.
That's all Danny Elfman.
All right, I need to go back. I need to go
and
back
the
and watch
director.
Beetlejuice.
Yeah, no, they
One
just
thing I
slapped
liked-
his name on it.
Because that
One thing I
movie
liked that he
left
did-
me with a weird feeling.
You know what I liked a lot? Yeah, I didn't like that either, by the way.
Right.
I
What?
did like
leaving.
Nightmare Before Christmas? Screw
It's
that.
so good.
No,
Oh,
you know what I
gosh,
did
it's
like
not.
by him is
Monster
the Ichabod Crane movie there. The
Sleepy Hollow.
Headless Horse. Yes, I love that.
It's very good. So Jay likes Planet of the Apes, so he's got a problem.
Did
Hell
he do?
no.
Did he do? I guess I could
I
IMDb
hated
this.
that.
Did Tim Burton do the Willy Wonka and
Yes.
do Matilda?
That was so
Yeah,
good.
not Matilda.
Not Matilda.
Not
I'm
Matilda.
gonna love
Hey.
Matilda too.
I do love a movie that he did, and that one of his first ones, and that is Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Oh, Pee-wee's great. Pee-wee's
Dude,
great.
I know we're way off topic here, but we just watched the Pee-wee movie, like Pee-wee's Holiday, something or other.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
from 2016 where they were hoping, like,
It's
because
funny.
if you think about it, like, okay, he was a child targeted actor who was caught masturbating in an adult theater. But like, I almost feel like, at what point does that get a pass? Like, at what point have we, as a society, gone like enough so that Pee-wee can come back? And the
that was a
answer
long-
is 2016.
Tad, that was a long time ago. And what are
Right.
you supposed to do in an adult theater back in the day? That's why you went
You're
there.
not supposed to, when you're a big star like that, you're not supposed to go to adult theaters. You're supposed to have the porn taken to your mansion. That's the point I tried to make at the
Then you
beginning
can
of
get
this.
a
Don't
date.
leave the house.
Right. But you know what? I'm gonna put that in perspective real quick. Okay. And I'm not. We don't have to air any of this. Okay. But this
No,
is
it's
this is
fine.
no. But this here, I'm gonna tell you the difference between back then and now, and it could have been a big deal, but then all of a sudden, people sometimes other bigger things happen, and you go, oh, not that big a deal. Like
Right.
for instance, Fred Ward, right? Is that his name, Fred Ward? The
Yes.
guy, he's a comedian, right? He's always in those Best in Show and stuff like that
Yeah.
movies, right? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
He, like I want to say, within the last 20 years, got caught doing the same thing in a movie theater. Okay.
Fred Willard.
And
Fred
Fred
Willard,
Willard,
right?
thank you.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Just died,
So,
I think.
literally like a day later. So he's, they're roasting him. They're laughing about him. They're doing that whole thing, treating him like sort of like Pee-wee. And like a day later, I want to say it was the gunman that comes into the freaking Batman movie. Boom. Totally. Everybody forgets that he did this. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and nobody gives a shit. Why? Because it's not fucking important.
No, because also Fred Willard wasn't a child actor. This is like if Mr. Hooper from Sesame Street or the Elmo guy.
He's dead. All right, yeah.
No,
the
rest
Elmo
his
guy.
soul.
Well, yeah.
I mean,
I get it.
But then, okay. So that's the issue with that is that he was targeted toward kids. Like, you freaking creep. But then, just in the general scheme, as we look at what has happened since then, like Jared from Subway, right?
Ooh.
Like that sort of. Then you're like, okay, well, maybe Pee Wee could get a sitcom now.
Yeah.
But 2016 was a year that he made his triumphant return to the small screen, Netflix or one of those, and is awesome. I'm telling you, there's a scene where he blows up a balloon at a kid's party that is like, I'll send it to you guys, or you can post it to wherever you post it, but is so good, and he doesn't say a word through it. And then there's another part where he's talking to an alien at the beginning where they just say arrivederci to each other as a way of saying goodbye, and it's flipping hysterical. That started a half hour ago.
How about that? Yeah.
That's all right.
Okay.
I got a lot to cut.
Sunglasses. Okay, the sunglasses used by the Men in Black are the Ray-Ban Predator 2 glasses. After the film's release, Ray-Ban reported the sale of these glasses tripled from 1.6 million to 5 million. The crew built a 96-foot replica of the Queens Midtown Tunnel, exactly 1/8 the size of the real one. It was completely authentic down to all the graffiti, and it took 4 months to build. I think that's so cool. Imagine you are one of the people that did the graffiti, and you're like, oh my God, look. like, can you imagine they replicated it? That's so funny. After script rewrites looking for a more action-oriented ending, the original animatronic bug was discarded after 8 months of development. The new sequence using a redesigned bug containing 45 CGI shots cost $100,000 each. According to Barry Sonnenfeld, how do you say his name? Sonnenfeld. It was like Seinfeld. Sonnenfeld.
Yep.
It was the best $4.5 million that we have spent. The film was going to be set in underground bases in locations including Kansas, Washington, D.C., and Nevada. But Barry Sonnenfeld made New York City the film's main Earth location. He thought that it would be more believable that aliens could hide out in a large city safely in crowds, and thought that the New Yorkers would be more tolerant of people who behaved oddly.
That's true.
Who were in fact aliens in disguise. He also felt that many of the city structures resembled flying saucers and rocket ships, which could be real spaceships and other hidden alien technology. I want to give a shout out to one of my favorite actors from Monk, Tony Shalhoub. Yep. Who was a really funny alien in this. And it's funny because I remember watching, and I read this, but I remember watching Monk because he was so odd, people thought at one time when he was in a town that he was actually an alien in human disguise, but in this, he was a human disguise being an alien in this movie. Okay. The little ball.
Wait 1 second.
What?
Just on that note, on him, that scene, he gets shot in the head, and then he regrows his head, and that's when Will Smith learns that he's an alien. But so I watched it on Prime, and it said I always have subtitles because I like to learn everybody's name, and I don't have to rewind and say like, what did somebody say? Like, what was that? I read it right there. Well, it says, "You insensitive little prick" on the subtitles, and then you hear, "You insensitive little jerk," and I'm like, the original line is prick. And I'm like, what the hell happened? I'm watching like an edited version.
That's not even bad,
on Prime.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
It was weird though. Like, no,
that used to be
but
something.
I mean, it was just
Blockbuster used to force Hollywood to edit their movies and overdub and clean them up, certain movies, to fit the family values of Blockbuster or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised if Jeff Bezos is up to the same shit.
Somewhere in there, bastard. Okay.
Okay. The little ball that Jay accidentally sends smashing around MIB headquarters is said by Kay to be a practical joke from the Great Attractor. The Great Attractor is actually a real thing. It's a gravitational anomaly about 250 million light years from Earth, which affects the motion of every galaxy within hundreds of millions of light years. It was first detected by astronomers in 1973. The explanation that Kay originally puts into Beatrice's head is an Easter egg for UFO geeks. It mixes of 4 different famous cases of UFO sightings by the U.S. government. Those include the swamp gas, Dr. J. Allen Hynek's explanation of Michigan sighting that had haunted him for years, weather balloon, which was the original explanation. Well, it wasn't actually the original. It was the second explanation for the Roswell incident. And the thermal pocket mass, which was Washington, D.C. UFO sighting of 1952. And light from Venus. That was a really funny one. If you don't know that story, that's freaking hilarious.
Yep.
Arguably the most frequently used explanation, but that was insane. I remember that 100%, or I remember all of these, but I thought that was hilarious where these 2 people literally stopped in the middle of the road, saw something, and then the government told them, yeah, that must have been the light from Venus that you were looking at. The light from Venus literally picked them up and tore their clothes and took them into a spaceship and threw them down. No, that was, this is light from Venus. You guys don't know what you're talking about. I just thought that was so funny.
That was funny.
Anyway, so funny. The American Humane Society made sure that no animals were hurt during filming, including cockroaches. So Will Smith, when he was actually crushing mustard packets, at the end of the day, they had to count all the roaches to make sure that none were missing. I wonder what would happen if one was missing. Like, what if he just crawled off somewhere and then they were like, you killed him? Like, what would happen? Would they get fined?
Yeah, I mean, somewhere between, like, people punching horses back in the 50s and squishing a cockroach. The truth lies. I don't know where that would be. I mean...
Or killing a snake in Friday the 13th.
Yeah,
when they
that's
killed that older
crazy.
snake and they didn't even tell him they were going to kill him, and that was sad. When Kay is in the restaurant, I had this whole joke. It was just too much. I literally had every line from this joke out. But remember when we were talking about when James is in the restaurant, he's telling the very last line, but honey, this one's eating my popcorn. It's actually a dirty joke about a man taking his pet rooster to a movie theater from a comedian in a movie, The Sting, in 1973. I actually had the whole thing out, and I'm like, I don't want to hear that.
It's a lot. I've heard the joke, Melanie. It's not that funny.
It's not. That's why I'm like, let me shorten this up somehow.
Yeah.
So according to the novelization, James is right to shoot Tiffany, the cardboard cutout, because she actually is a dangerous alien disguise, while all the other aliens around were just completely harmless. When the monitor showed Jay's old 3rd grade teacher, it says that she teaches in Philadelphia, where Will Smith was born and raised. Obviously, a joke from The Fresh Prince. When Will Smith jumps, I thought it was I love this movie, by the way. When he jumps from an overpass onto the tour bus, he jumps from Pershing Square Bridge, which is the same location where Robert Neville, also Will Smith, in I Am Legend in 2007, is attacked by the demon dogs after the sun goes down. Remember that?
Oh, shit. All right. That's cool. Yeah. I'm with you. I love that movie.
Dog dies. That's bullshit.
Well,
no one
spoiler alert. What the heck?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Tad's next movie. He was about to watch it tomorrow.
How dare you?
Seriously, okay, whatever. The dog dies. When
when does the statute of limitations run out for a 2007 movie?
Yeah.
Well, I just figured you already knew that one. Everybody, it was so funny because after my daughter had seen that, she even said to me, my younger daughter, if the dog dies in this, I'm stopping. I'm not going to watch the rest of it. She was and then she was so mad because I'm thinking, oh shit, because I knew I'd already seen it.
Right.
And then now, like every movie, I remember we were watching some shark movie, and there's this little like Yorkie swimming around. In fact, thank God they brought him back at the end of the movie.
The Meg.
What was
That's
the movie?
the Meg.
Okay.
That's the Meg.
Was it the Meg? Because I just
It's
watched
the Meg.
It. I didn't remember this stupid.
Are you
Oh,
sure
it's
it
so
wasn't
good.
Sharknado?
No, it's the Meg.
I think it was Sharknado.
It's the Meg.
I think it's Sharknado.
There's a scene in the Meg where the dog doesn't die, but 1,000 people do, and everybody cheers when the Yorkie doesn't die.
Okay,
it's
it is the Yorkie.
Meg.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
He's
don't
like
know.
amateurs.
I remember it being like a parking garage or something. I don't think it's the Meg.
Oh, all right,
There's gotta be
whatever.
something else. I don't know.
I'm right, but that's
find out.
fine.
I love it.
But there was another movie though. I remember there's like a parking garage or something with this shark thing. I don't know. Anyway, I closed
hours
like,
later.
We gotta look that up now. But yeah, I just watched the Meg the other day, but I wasn't paying attention.
Oh, Meg's so good.
Yeah. Well, okay, let me just say this. You know what pisses me off, and I've said this before? when you look at the cover of the Meg, it shows this girl laying in a float on the beach, and like underneath her, you see this massive shark face, and she's just floating in the middle of his face. They never show that ever, not ever once, not ever. I couldn't wait to see that. But
you don't see that in Jaws.
Whatever, that's like the whole thing. Like they show that in the commercial, and they show that. Oh, look at this. Well, there's no. It never happened.
Hey, Jay, if you want some fun post-production for this, try to count how many movies we referenced. and discuss. And put a timer on each. That tells you everything you need to know about Men in Black.
Hey, Ben in Black's good.
That makes a better movie. That just makes a better podcast. Jay, leave it in. It's funny. Anyway, two more little things. Lowell Cunningham. These are two cameos. Lowell Cunningham, the creator of the original comics, appears briefly as a short-sleeved MIB officer employee, and Barry Sonnenfeld himself is one of the aliens on their surveillance screen. That's it.
Boom.
Cool.
Nice.
All right.
It's time now for final judgment. Are you ready to rubber stamp this bitch? Here's the final judgment.
All right, it's time for final judgment. We talk about facts, no longer opinion. How much this movie holds up today. Oh, heck, we can do opinions. How about that? We'll start with the newbie. Let's go with someone who has not seen it as much as anyone else. Tad.
All right, so I'm just going to tell you it doesn't hold up because Will Smith doesn't hold up. Okay. And that's my final analysis on that. Will Smith, we're not ready. We're ready for Pee Wee Herman, but we're not ready for Will Smith.
Wow.
The funny thing is the real star of this movie wasn't even in this movie. And I just think that's such a great picture of her, don't you guys?
Yeah, she's in the movie. He just wishes she was in it.
Another one.
This is what I say about Will Smith. I feel like he made, not only the mistake of slapping somebody, but this is the mistake he made real bad. Now, when he went up and he slapped that, Chris Rock, everyone thought it was a joke at first. So he could have just snapped out of it up there and just pretended that it was a joke, and everybody would have been like, that's so funny, and then everybody would have went along with it. I don't know why he didn't think of that when he was on the stage. Like,
I'll tell you why.
No, that's right. This is a joke. You know what I mean? He could have been as mad as he wanted to, but if he just
no, you know what?
Literally, everybody thought it was a joke.
It was deeper. Apparently, his wife slept with his son's friend, right? Which is think of that,
dude. Now you're gonna.
It was something like from what I heard. From what I heard, she had an affair with his son's friend. Okay, was his son's friend named
Chris Rock?
Yeah. No, but hold on.
I heard it was because she had alopecia and she was like crying about going there right before the thing.
Did you notice? Did you notice Will's laughing at the joke? And
yep.
He looks over.
And she goes,
that's why you think it's a joke.
Because but she is like the controller of that relationship.
Yep.
Which is insane. She's the controller, but she's the one cheating the whole time. I heard that too.
Yep.
But some, how abuse victims can be. Like, they go, okay, I'm sorry, honey, hold on, let me go fight for your honor.
Yep.
So he gets up there and
Yep.
All right, so maybe Will Smith. Maybe we are ready.
That he was in. Yeah.
Men in Black is great. Let me go watch it again.
Tad, you're not
ready to believe you.
I'm ready. I'm ready for Will Smith again. It's Jada I'm not ready for.
That's right.
At last.
Chris Rock's family was like, I'm going to kill him.
Yeah.
But for 1997, this was very advanced, Think about it. I remember just being mostly blown away by the visual spectacle of it in 97 when I first saw it. And that does that was some pretty advanced stuff, and it holds up,
Are they still together?
Yes.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yep.
Okay, sorry to interrupt you, but that was just
That's all right.
That's it. I give it a C-. Next.
So he says it doesn't hold up. C- is Tad.
But I will probably check out 2 or 3, but I'm more likely to watch Beetlejuice.
You should watch 2, but it's bad, but then watch 3 and it's better.
Okay. That seems like a big commitment, considering the only time I watch movies is when I come on this podcast.
Right.
Well, we'll work on a date for October.
Yeah, beautiful.
All right.
I'll go next.
Go, Melanie, hit it.
All right. I've always liked this movie. I think it's really funny. My husband did not want to watch it. He was like, that's stupid. I don't want to watch that. I'm like, it's super funny. Just shut up and watch it. So I don't know. I don't see how you can't like Tommy Lee Jones because he's like amazing. And then all the doofy stuff in the movie is supposed to be doofy. So it's like, it's supposed to be like that. So I don't know. I just think that a lot of the lines in it are really funny. I know I used to bring this up all the time when we started the podcast, well, when I was on it, that, my kids have seen it and they think it's funny and their friends think it's funny. So it's holding up to different generations. And again, like, I don't know, I still like, Emma is watching, which is so funny because when she was sick, she was in my bed. She was recovering from endometriosis surgery. I put on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and so she's still watching it. So, and she knows everything that's happened, but it's like you just kind of put it out of your head and you just, because the show is funny, and like even though he's in it, it's funny. So, people have different, hopefully if they can forgive Mel Gibson. And Alec Baldwin and different people that have done different things. Eventually, I'm sure people will get over whatever happened. But this movie was before that ever happened anyway, and he is pretty funny in it. And Tommy Lee Jones is the best, and the little lines from everything is really cute. So I'm gonna say it holds up because if you've never seen it before and you watch it, I can't see how you're not gonna get a few crack-ups over it.
Sure. All right. If I may go, I would say it holds up because, like I said, it's kind of perfect storytelling. It doesn't hit you over the head with explanations. It lets things go where it doesn't require an explanation, like Will Smith's backstory, a lot of Kay's backstory. Like, it doesn't matter because we've suspended the window of disbelief so high at this point that it doesn't matter what their backstories are. The acting kind of tells the story, and that's it. We don't need to know more than that. I think that, I don't know, it goes real fast. It doesn't waste any time. It's very immaculate, again, in its storytelling. It doesn't say stuff it doesn't need to say. And most of the, half of the movie is just getting Will Smith up the speed with what the Men in Black are. We don't really get a crisis until about 45 to an hour in, which is the fact that it drags you along for that long and that you still care, maybe.
Yeah.
Even an hour in when no crisis has occurred is pretty good. So again, I think it's fantastic. I think it holds up, except for the Will Smith isms of the late 90s and his wardrobe when he's in the NYPD, which is kind of kooky.
Doesn't his orange, I think the orange jumpsuit, doesn't that look like a prison jumpsuit? You guys,
100%.
Didn't you think that?
Oh yeah, and when it does, and then when he walks into his first day of work at MIB at Battery Park, like, what the fuck pants are those? But again, it's the 90s.
He looks good in it. He was in a really good shape back then. Like,
Whatever.
He got away with wearing anything.
I was on the treadmill watching Men in Black today at Planet Fitness while Fresh Prince was on the TV in front of me.
Oh, yeah. Utopia.
Really
wow.
Oh, it's a crazy pants.
That's
Jay,
that's the top of Everest. No oxygen required.
Where do you go from there? I don't know. Jay, go ahead.
I think it holds up because I watched it last night and this morning, and it felt fresh. You know what I mean? Like
it felt fresh.
That's right. Like the Fresh Prince. No, but it felt, like it still felt like it worked. The special effects look good. It doesn't look like it's crazy dated special effects.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and the comedy was relatable. Like, I think anybody could enjoy this today, and I think there's a reason that whether you liked the third or fourth, there's a reason they came out still, because people still like it. So
yep.
That's true. Yeah.
And I guess I guess I would just say that maybe I complain when a movie is too freaking involved and too deep, and it hurts your brain. So just getting back to all of that, it's like this movie does not hurt your brain. It's right. So had they delved into Will Smith's life or Tommy Lee's relationship, I probably would be like, that freaking movie. Why didn't they just focus on the aliens? You know, like.
And why is Tommy Lee always looking for pomade from Dapper Dan?
Yeah, that's true.
And we all know Will Smith just has that thing of Chinese food that's like, 3 weeks old in his fridge.
You gotta get over the food, man. Get over the food.
That's just pretty lonely and doesn't have anybody at home.
Poor guy.
Well, all right. Well, that was our show, everybody. I'd like to thank Steve Lavoie for doing our vocal imaging, and I'd also like to thank Draco and the Malfoys for our theme music. And please help us grow by liking this video and subscribe to our channel. And I would like to ask Tad Lemire to let everybody know how to listen to him and check him out.
I will defer to Melanie. No, teasing. B98.5 in Atlanta, weekday mornings. We have an app, B985 app. It's free. It's free. We're also streaming at b985.com and on the radio at 98.5 in the Atlanta area where Melanie lives. So, very cool. Thank you for allowing me that plug. I do appreciate it. Sorry if I seem distracted. I was just spending a little time with
Jesus
Maura.
Christ.
I mean, she looks exactly like the lady.
Not exactly.
I'm obsessed. I'm going to go watch some ER now.
Tell Noah Wiley I said hi.
Well, let's put it this way.
Isn't your wife blonde?
Mine? No, brunette.
I can't remember. Did she have lighter blonde?
She doesn't even pay attention to my Facebook page.
I do too. I have it right here. But I was like, okay, your wife's hair is not that dark. It is not. That looks like black hair.
Dude, I love when you're up against the fence. It's the best.
God, that's so funny.
Does your wife know you have an infatuation
with Maura Tierney? Actually, she looks remarkably like my wife. Funny enough.
My wife.
No, that girl has black hair almost.
That girl, is that what you're calling my Maura?
Not your wife, your girl. Yeah, your fake girlfriend online.
Don't do Maura like that. This is star of Men in Black, for God's sake.
It's way lighter.
Oh, we should do a side by side. More post prod for Jay.
All right, let me find a picture. Hold on. I just saw
side by side.
You guys were at Disney World last, or Universal. Sorry.
Yeah, which by the way, Universal is Hollywood is awesome. Like the one in Orlando is cool if you're into rides and everything. It's obviously bigger and everything, but in Hollywood, you actually see sets. You see the clock tower from Back to the Future that was actually used.
Yep.
And
really?
yes, yeah. And they have like a Western kind of street where they're like, these legends walked on these dirt roads, and it's like Clint Eastwood is Dirty Harry. It's like crazy.
And I know why I was thinking your wife had blonde hair too, is because your kids are really blonde looking.
There you go.
I figured where did they get that?
They're not hers.
Yeah, that's
right. Not hers.
The Aryan, they're good people.
Can you believe this? My thing just dinged. I'm supposed to be going to bed right now. This is my life now.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I get up early in the morning so that people can not listen. Oh, I can do that all day. I'm just teasing you, Melanie. It's fun.
I would listen if I was in the car at that exact time that you were on.
Jay, get us out of here.
All right. Well, I am Jay Fortier on the behalf of Chris Martineau and Melanie Howerton.
Hold on, shut up. all I ever do is listen to stuff when I'm in the car.
It's now my fault.
In the car. I don't listen to anything when I'm in the house. I listen to it when I'm in the car. If it's a podcast, if it's a radio, well, really, I usually listen to like the recorded stuff already. It's always recorded, but it's always in the car. That's when I listen to my shit, in the car.
I thought when Jay just took a drink of his soda, I was like, oh shit, now Jay's drinking.
Right.
Tad
Probably has
needs
been
to
the whole
go to
time.
bed. Leave him alone.
Dude, you're awesome. You guys are great. Thank you.
Well,
Take us
thank
out,
you.
Jay.
All right.
You were in the middle of doing that.
Sorry, Jay.
No, shut up. She told me to shut up. All right. Well, I'd like to thank you for joining us here on the Film Crickets. Until next time, movies may not age like fine wine, but we do what we can and drink it anyway. Bye.
Yep.
But you don't drink them anyway.
Not me.
Only me and Chris do.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, God.
And sometimes our guests.
Chirp about movie.